The 2 hours between getting home and going to sleep are the most underused financial resources most working people have. Not because you should fill every evening with a hustle. That's a path to burnout that ends the side income experiment within 3 months. But because two focused hours, 3 to 4 nights per week, applied to the right activity for your specific skills and situation, can generate income that changes your financial picture meaningfully without requiring you to quit anything, scale anything, or commit to anything you cannot reverse if it stops making sense. The question is not whether you have the time, you have the time. The question is which activity is actually working that time at your skill level, your energy level after work, and your realistic capacity to sustain it. And here's an honest map of what actually works. The framework before the list, before the specific options, the selection criteria that separates after work income that's worth pursuing from after work income that burns out or earns too little to justify the effort. After work income needs to be low barrier to start, not requiring months of setup before the first dollar arrives. It needs to be sustained at low energy because most people are not at peak cognitive capacity at 8 p.m. after a full workday. And after work income that requires peak performance to execute will be abandoned on the harder days. It needs to have a realistic income ceiling worth pursuing. And some options are theoretically available, but pay so poorly that the hourly rate doesn't justify the time when honestly calculated. And it needs to fit within the time budget realistically. 2 to 3 hours on weeknights and a longer window on weekends if you choose, not a second full time job that makes the weeknights indistinguishable from the work days. And with those criterias in mind, here's what actually works. Ranked roughly from the fastest to the fastest of first dollar to the highest long term ceiling. Option number one, freelance skills on demand. If you have any marketable skills, writing, editing, design, coding, bookkeeping, marketing, video editing, social media management, research, translation, this is the fastest path to after work income with the lowest barrier to entry. The work is done on your schedule. The income arrives quickly after the first client is secured, and the ceiling is your available hours multiplied by your rate, which for skilled services range from $35 to $150 per hour, depending on the field and your experience level. The fastest path to a first client is your existing network, approaching directly with a specific offer, not a broadcast announcement, but a personal message to someone you know who might need the specific service that you're offering. And the second fastest is a freelance platform profile like Upwork, Fiverr, or similar, with a very specific narrow service description that differentiates you from generic profiles. A copyright is invisible on these platforms. A copyright who specializes in email sequences for SaaS. A product launches it findable and it's hireable. It's needed. Realistic after work income potential at 10 hours per week is $350 to $1,500 per week for skilled services. Depending on rate and client acquisitions, the range is wide and depends heavily on what you charge and how efficiently you find clients. The lower end represents entry level rates with minimal client acquisition efforts, and the upper end represents specialized skills with clients found through direct outreach or established platforms presence. Option number two, gigs that pay immediately. For people who need income fast and don't have immediately marketable digital skills, on demand gig work provides the lowest barrier to first payment. Delivery driving, DoorDash, Instacart, and Amazon Flex pays within days. TaskRabbit for skilled physical tasks pays for complete after completion, and Rover and Wag for pet care. Handy for home services. All of these convert available hours directly into income with no client acquisition beyond platform onboarding. The honest earnings picture, though, delivery driving after expenses, the fuel, the vehicle depreciation, and self employment tax typically nets $12 to $18 per hour in most markets after accounting for wait time, dead miles, and the true cost of vehicle use. This is above minimum wage and below skilled freelancing. It's appropriate for someone who needs income immediately and plans to use it as a bridge while building a higher rate, skill, or client base. And the strategic use of gig work is a funded foundation for building something better, using the reliable income from gig work to invest in skill development, tools, or time to pursue a higher ceiling option while covering immediate financial needs. Gig work as an indefinite income ceiling is a different proposition than a gig work as a bridge. The former is limiting. The latter is a legitimate strategy. And here's option number three: selling things you already own or make. The decluttering income stream is underrated as an afterwork activity because the startup inventory already exists in most households, and the income requires no skill acquisition, no client relationship, and no sustained commitment. One evening per week photographing and listing and shipping items from eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and Poshmark or Macari can generate $200 to $500 per month for the average household that has accumulating a meaningful quantity of unused goods. The ceiling on this model is the finite nature of what you own. But most households have more sellable inventory than they've estimated. And the decluttering process itself has non-financial value in the space and reduced maintenance. When the personal inventory is exhausted, the model can extend into sourcing, buying underpriced items at thrift stores, estate sales, and clearance events, and reselling them at market price, which is a skilled based business with higher ceiling and higher time investment. And for someone looking for low mental effort after work income on evenings when cognitive bandwidth is depleted, listing and selling is an accessible activity that doesn't require the focused thought that writing or designing or coding demands. Option number four: teaching what you already know. Teaching is the most scalable after-work income model available to someone with genuine expertise in any domain. Not expertise relative to the world, but expertise relative to a specific audience that knows less than you do. A marketing professional with 5 years of experience know more about SEO, campaign management, and analytics than the small business owner who's trying to handle their own marketing. The knowledge gap is a tutoring market, one-on-one tutoring and coaching via video call. Clarity.fm for professional knowledge. Preply or Italaki. It's Italki. I don't know how to pronounce it. For language instruction. Wizant for academic subjects. Acquire no product, no audience, and no marketing infrastructure. It requires a profile, a rate, and the willingness to show up for a call and share what you know. Rates for professional knowledge of coaching range from, 75 to $300 per hour for expertise in business relevant domains. Academic tutoring runs 30 to $80 per hour depending on subjects and the levels. The scalable version of teaching is recorded courses and workshops that convert your knowledge into a product that generates income beyond the hours you invest in the delivery. But this requires audience building before it generates meaningful income and belongs in the longer horizon planning rather than the immediate afterwork income category. Option number five: content that compounds over time. YouTube, newsletters, podcasting, and written content are the longest path to meaningful afterwork income and the highest ceiling for the people who make it through the early period of low or no return. A channel or newsletter built consistently over 2 to 3 years in a niche with advertising, sponsorship, or product monetization potential can eventually generate income that exceeds the primary job, but the timeline on that outcome requires patience that most people who started don't sustain. And the practical afterwork application, content creation belongs in the portfolio as a long horizon bet, not the primary income strategy. 2 hours per week, one writing session, and one filming or recording session can maintain a consistent content presence without consuming the after work time that the faster paying options need. And the content compounds in the background while the freelance or gig income covers the immediate financial goals. The creator who eventually exits their job through content almost universally did so by maintaining the content practice alongside employment until the content income crossed the employment income, not by quitting before it did. And building the portfolio. The after work income portfolio that works long term has two components: something that pays now and something that builds. freelancing or gig work for the immediate income, content or skill based digital products for the long term compounding. The 2 to 3 hour evening window deployed 3 nights per week is enough for both if the time is allocated. Deliberately, one evening for delivery or gig work, one evening for freelance client work, and one evening for content creation or skill development. The income from the first two covers immediate financial goals. The third session is the investment in future income that most people who only pursue immediate income never make. Start with the option that match your current skill level and energy capacity, most honestly, and build the income. Then add the long horizon layers when the immediate foundation is stable. The combination sustained for 2 to 3 years produces an income picture that looks nothing like the one that started with. And it was built in the hours that were going unused, anyways. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, check out today's video to the right. Also, if you really enjoyed today's video, drop a sub. We could really use it, and we could really use you on the team here. If you're looking to for us to stick around and wanting to enjoy our videos, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care.